Welcome to Pick and Roll. This is your daily NBA betting show on the Board NBA, the NBA content division of the Hammer Betting Network. On this show, we go through various basketball-related discussions before going into Pips' best bets of the night. And yesterday, we are pleased to say we had two winners. We're going to recap those in just a moment here. But I want to remind you guys that if you're watching on Twitter, make sure you're following the Board NBA and also like and retweet the stream if you want to support a little bit more. And if you are on YouTube, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to our channel. So a couple of pieces of discussion before the recap and the picks here. And one player that me and Pips are both quite fond of in the NBA, and he had, I would say, maybe the best game of his career yesterday, OG Anunoby. Not, the glitz and glamour sort of name that you maybe see us talk about a lot of the time, but OG, maybe an unsung hero of this Raptors team. Siakam not playing, Gary Trent not playing. OG drops 32 on 13 for 18, maintains DPOY level defense. Pips, I know you liked what you saw as well from him.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of him for like a couple of years now, and yeah, I fell in love with his defense, and his offense is coming along over the last 3 seasons, and yeah, it's just great to see someone like him getting the reps, and yeah, it was pretty amazing. I think the second half when they just started setting a stagger screen for him to come down, and Van Fleet was just feeding him like 5 or 4 straight possessions, and he was just killing it. And you guys got, I think, like 21-0 run during
Yeah,
that period. Yeah, it was
yeah.
amazing. And he was on one side, like locking down Jimmy Butler and doing great stuff defending on him, and the other side scoring like a true superstar. And it was just like
Yeah.
amazing part of the game.
I think one of the biggest things that's changed from this season is that he's getting to the rim a lot more often. He's not settling for mid range. I mean, yesterday mid range was
He's
working as
strong.
well. He's very strong and he's very athletic, and finally he's starting to use it getting to the rim. Admittedly, the Heat did not have Bam Adebayo, who probably would have made a difference there, and they didn't have Tyler Hero, but both teams dealing with injuries. OG saw weakness. Nikola Jovic played a lot of those center minutes when Dedmon wasn't on the floor. OG just had the answer for everything the Heat threw at him. So was absolutely great to see. And we're seeing the offense really take a leap. And even the defense, I thought the help defense was great yesterday. And that has looked much improved this season. But we want to transition from my Raptors over to Pips' Rockets because they pull off the huge upset win against the Dallas Mavericks yesterday. 101-92, I believe, was the final score. Dallas did not have Luka Doncic, and it looked like it. He played 40 minutes the night before in a win, needed some rest. He earned it, but this Dallas team, is there reason for concern that they looked this bad without Doncic playing?
Yeah, for sure, man. Like Luka Doncic is just carrying so much load, and I don't think his body will be in good condition when the playoff is there. I mean, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets some injuries and was will be sidelined for some time because I don't think he can continue doing this every night, day in day out, and play 80 games this season. And even if he does, when the playoff comes, he'll just be tired. And yeah, I actually think we can see that in every game so far this season. When Dallas goes on a crazy run in the first half, I think they are like net rating is like plus 10 in the first half and -7 in the second half through the entire year. And if you look at Luka Doncic field goal percentage through the quarters, it's just like going down, like 60% first quarter, 55 second, 45 third, and like 30% in the fourth, which is like a huge downswing. And it just as he gets tired during the game because he's carrying like every offense. And they don't have any, I mean, they have Spencer Dinwiddie, but there is no third ball handler. There is no one to handle the ball. So when Spencer Dinwiddie sits, it's all
Exactly.
Luka. Yeah. And last season they had Brunson. That's why they went on a crazy run at the end of the season when Spencer came and they had Brunson, Spencer, and Luka. And Luka could play some off the ball, could just sit and rest for a few possessions, and now he doesn't have that. That's why we're seeing one of the highest usage games seasons of any player ever. And yeah, I just don't think his body is used to it, and I don't think he can handle it throughout the season.
Yeah, I going into the season, I spoke about Doncic, and I was saying we're going to see some unholy usage ratings because usage percentage, excuse me, because the Mavs just don't have enough around him. They lost Brunson. They did not replace him. Sure, they brought in Christian Wood, but I was going to make the same point as you. Ball handlers. Dinwiddie's. I really, really think Dinwiddie's a great player coming off the bench. I think he's fine as a starter, but I think his best role is the sixth man, a great shot creator, come off your bench and help the star like Luka Doncic. One of the biggest mistakes that will always go down for the Mavericks is they had the opportunity to extend Brunson on 4 years, $50 million. They turned that down. Now, granted, they did not expect the rise that he had last season, but they lost him, did not replace him. And I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get to a point where Luka is starting to wonder if Dallas is the right fit for him, but he's been in the league a number of years now. They still have shown an inability to get talent around him. Do you think it'll ever get to a point where Doncic maybe has to go somewhere else?
So I'll just first want to say, like, obviously the biggest step back was Porzingis, giving him so much money when it was obvious
Right.
that he's not the same player, and that contract put them in a really tough spot, and they gave up second best player on that huge contract for Spencer Dinwiddie. I mean, Spencer Dinwiddie is like six man at the best, as you said. And about this, I don't know actually. I will just had to examine their roster contracts and everything. So maybe up in like next season they have opened up some money on the team. Yeah, I mean they Luka actually has great role players like Reggie Bullock and
For
Dorian
sure.
Finney-Smith are like great defensive 3 and D guys. But yeah, the only player he's missing this season to compete is Jalen Brunson.
Yeah,
I
he
mean, if
needs some
Brunson was
sort of a
there,
co-star.
they are like contender. Yeah, but now, yeah, this is bad.
Yeah. Jalen Brunson not quite the co-star, but it was a big player that really helped them in the playoffs last season. You saw the way they took down the Phoenix Suns. That was incredibly impressive. I just feel like Doncic is so good that he just makes up for what the team lacks, and it makes it look better than they are. So they're always like a fourth or fifth seed. They're competitive in the playoffs. Like I think the season before, they had a competitive series with the Clippers, but the team is just not there, and maybe Doncic is just too good for them to realize where they lack a little bit. But as you said, that Porzingis contract was a big factor in the problems they're having here. So let's transition now into the recap of yesterday's plays. Karl Anthony Towns goes over easily on the 21.5 points. Actually got a good close at 22.5. I was a little worried when the Timberwolves are blowing out the Magic, but thankfully the Timberwolves, they realized who they were. Orlando almost came back. But overall, what were your thoughts on the T-Wolves? Because we've been critical of them this week, and Karl Anthony Towns in particular.
Yeah, they had amazing first half. They were moving the ball. Like actually, Towns had only like 4 points in the first quarter because he was just moving the ball. Didn't want to force anything. They were just moving the ball. Edwards started the game great, scoring three threes in like first 2 minutes, and yeah, things were looking great. And Magic team is just not on that level, even if the Wolves are not great yet. And they were up 30. And then in the second half, they went back to their isolation and stupid stuff and allowed Magic to come back into the game. But Magic team is just lacking any talent with all the injuries. They missed like
Yeah.
players were out for this game. So yeah, they just had ball, and Franz Wagner doing like scoring, and you can just rely on it, especially when Gobert is under the rim and you need to shoot outside. And yeah, they just fell short. But yeah, they gave the run. Towns played over 30 minutes and scored 30 points easily. So we actually need to be thankful for the Magic for trying. in this one.
Thankful for the Magic making it close late. Towns covers easily. Another player who covers easily is DeMar DeRozan. Ends with 28 points. We had him over 24 and a half. Slow start for DeRozan. May have been slightly concerning. It seems like he turned it on a little bit in the second quarter, especially very much, especially the second half. I think he had 19 second half points. Is that what happened with DeRozan?
Yeah, and this was the one I was even more concerned about the blowout because like Trey Murphy will shoot from the logo and the shots were going in. Like the shot making from Pelicans was just on another level.
Yeah.
They were like over 50% from three, and yeah, they were up 25 at one moment in the fourth, and I was concerned would there wasn't even come back, but he did, and they made a run, and yeah, he scored. At the end, he scored 28 easily, but in the first half, he had the foul trouble, so he only played 30 minutes in the first half. I think that's the main reason for 9 points,
Right.
because if he get another 4 to 5 minutes, as usual, I think he'll be like at 13 and on the way to score 30 on the night.
So great couple of wins there. We're going to try to find another win today. It's a small slate, but one spot that Pips really likes. Before we get into that, thank you to all the people watching on YouTube, people like Timothy finding a lot of value, as well as Adam finding tons of great value in this show. We appreciate all of our viewers across all of our networks. Remember, you can watch this show on Twitter, YouTube, and you catch it afterwards listening on podcast with Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But the game of focus is the Brooklyn Nets, who are visiting the Portland Trailblazers. And we've been critical of the Brooklyn Nets. Somebody who's maybe been more critical of the Brooklyn Nets is Kevin Durant, who has verbally called out how bad the starting lineup is around him, which just adds on to the wonderful chemistry they created. And maybe that's has a partial factor into liking the Blazers and Anthony Simons today. Here's the play.
So the play is atypical for our show, but considering the small slate, I just tried to find some edge, and I think this is the great spot to take. And the bet is same game parlay. Simons over 2.5 threes made, and Blazers alternative spread plus 6.5. So we are betting that Blazers won't lose with 6 or more points spread, and that's minus 120 at DraftKings and BetMGM. So the reason I'm betting on Anthony Simons is obviously the Nets defense. They are allowing fourth most threes, and they are allowing the second highest field goal on those threes. And this graph shows the made threes from Anthony Simons over the last 9 games. So as we can see, he's scoring like 4 threes on average, and last 3 games he scored 5 threes. And let's be honest, Pelicans, Dallas, and San Antonio Spurs are not the great matchup for threes. They are above average, and Dallas is actually one of the best teams, and he still ended up scoring 5 in all 3 of these games. And now he's getting the best matchup, and we are betting only over 2.5 threes, which goes well. I think the only way for Portland to not cover this spread is for Anthony Simons and Dame Lillard to shoot awful. And I think if Simons goes over this line, we are very well correlated with Blazers covering. And the interesting thing about this bet is the one game he didn't cover, he shot 2 from 9 from the three. Like over the last 7 games, he took 11 or more field goal attempts for 3 in like only but one game. So yeah, if he's shooting like 10, 11, 12 threes a game, like even if he makes 3, he's just way below his average, and he's a great 3-point shooter. He's shooting 39% career, so he will actually need like 7 or 8 threes, 3-point field attempts to cover this, and I think he'll get way more.
One thing for sure, Anthony Simons is a straight shooter. He's going to continue to shoot, and we are shooting on him tonight. Just to recap that play for you guys again, we do have a same-game parlay with the Blazers and the Nets. Anthony Simons over 2.5 3-pointers made and the Blazers alternate spread at plus 6.5. That is minus 120 at DraftKings and BetMGM. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning into today's episode of Pick and Roll. We usually go live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. There will be no show tomorrow. Pips is going to be away enjoying a holiday, and we wish him the best and hope he has a good day there. And we hope we have a good day tonight with this bet. Remember, you can catch this on Twitter, YouTube, as well as Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Rate and like 5 stars on those podcast platforms. Subscribe and like on YouTube. Retweet, like, and follow on Twitter. And you can also check out our shows, our channels. You can follow me on Twitter at Jacob Gramegna. Check out my YouTube channel, Amateur Sports. Follow PipsNBA at PipsNBA on Twitter. He sometimes gives out some more picks on this Twitter account as well, so make sure you're on there. And we will see you on Monday for more from the show. Thank you so much to everybody.